Welcome to the live stream done in 60 minutes. It is a really nice Saturday morning here in Victoria, BC. If you're out there and you are watching live, let me know in the chat. Love to hear from you. You know, the whole reactionary kind of stuff, whether it's like, hey, glad to be here. Here's maybe even let me what you plan to get done in the next 60 minutes, because that's the game plan for this live stream today, is to kind of get a sense of, you know, how to get things done in that period of time. I'm just checking to make sure, yep, we're all good. We got a few people in the chat right now. We got a few people watching live. If you're not watching this live, no worries. You can still do this with me as we kind of progress through the next hour. I've got a few things that are set up. If you've followed my work in the past, you probably noticed I do at least one live stream a week here on the channel. And that's the game plan for the foreseeable future. And usually it's on a Saturday. So that's the kind of crux of what I do here on the channel, other than making my, my regular video stuff. Now, you may notice that I do have a couple of different camera angles. I'm running on an older iMac right now, which we're kind of waiting to see if we can get a newer one when the new ones come out. So if there's a bit of a hiccup, that might be the case, because I am going to be using my iPad a little bit today, because some of the work I need to do is on the iPad, and it's just easier to share that way. What I need from you is to make sure that you have everything that you're going to work on over the next 60 minutes. Now, if you need to walk away from the live stream to do some of that stuff, that's fine too. I'm not going to leave here. And when I'm looking at my tasks for the day, I've noticed that there are a few things that I do need to do that are going to take me away from my workstation, my study. But I'm not going to do those in this live stream. So you have that opportunity. You can walk away, do some of the things, come back, and then report back as to what you got done in the 60 minutes. Okay. Today is unusual for me for a Saturday as well, and I'll explain. So when I walk into a day, I normally prep the night before, and if you watched the live stream, which is now just a regular video, I guess, here on the channel about planning your week with me, you've seen my planning process for the week. I've not done one that plans the day yet. That will be upcoming, and when it is, I'll obviously share it with you, and I'll probably attach it to this video so that way you can easily access that as well. But I planned the night before. This week, however, is a very different week. What's not different is the fact that I drink coffee in the morning out of my Green Lantern cup, which by the time this workshop, this live stream is over, all of these other lanterns will be gone. It'll just be Hal Jordan. So this week, half of my family is not here. So my wife and my son are away, traveling, which means that they're not traveling. They went away. Don't worry, they're not gallivanting across the land. They went to one spot, for those that are sensitive to that stuff. So that means that my daughter and I have just been here. And Grace being 16 is pretty self-sufficient. I being 47 are almost as self-sufficient. So the usual rules haven't applied this week in terms of my schedule. Yes, I have my daily themes, and I have a video that talks about how to theme your days. I think that was also a live stream. And if you watch that video or you followed my work, you know that when I theme my day, Bill, I just see Bill. I'll get to that comment in a second, Bill, in the chat. Yes, I am going to hold out. That's the one. The new ones I think are going to be a higher end M chip, and I'm going to hold out for that because I don't need a laptop. The iPad handles all my portable tasks pretty easily. But normally I theme my day. So what happens is that every day of the week has its own overarching focus. So when I start a day like today, I would be looking at, and for an example, I have my cards right here. I'm using the analog cards for the purposes of this live stream, and I'll put a link to them in the description, how you can get some analog cards of your own made by Ugmonk. So I've got 9 tasks listed here that I want to work on today. And these are just ones that I know can be done at my desk too. So I have other tasks listed obviously inside of Todoist for personal stuff, ClickUp for work stuff. Okay. But today is usually my family day. So that means that the overarching focus would be family stuff, tasks associated with the family, most of which would require me not to be here in this study. In fact, I spend very little time in here on a Saturday. The most time I'll spend is doing a live stream with you. But normally, everyone's kind of still in their getting up mode between 9 and 10 a.m. Pacific time, so it's a good time for me to do this. But this week, I don't have to concern myself with family tasks as much. Sure, the house still needs to be maintained. Sure, meals need to be planned, all that stuff. But that's not the overarching focus I'm going to need today. So I can toss the daily theme out the window for 1 week. And in this case, it's not because I've got too much to do that would override or supersede it. It's more, it doesn't really apply, right? Same thing can happen on a holiday, right? So if Friday was a holiday, and we froze a little bit there. Friday was a holiday, then Friday would be my day to, quote, rectify things. That's the daily theme for that. Then what I'd be able to do is I could either choose to follow that daily theme or just toss it out the window because it's a holiday, so I'm not going to work necessarily, or I won't be able to do as many things with other people because they're on holiday. So daily themes work consistently because more often than not you're going to be following them, but when they don't apply, you have to have another strategy. And if you look at my list, you can see I've got a lot of up arrows and down arrows. Okay, I've done a video about using energy levels to help you decide what tasks to do, and that's the model I'm using here. So I didn't write down my daily theme at the top. These tasks are not associated with one another. Write 1,092 words, write Monday blog post. I have to audit Todoist. I have to get my assistant into front. Check in with clients, 2 of them, 2 separate tasks for that, by the way. Plan next week, plan virtual assistant tasks, and then get into ClickUp, which basically is the same as audit ClickUp. And you'll notice that each of these has their own little arrow based on how much energy I believe I'm going to need or how much concentration or what have you to do those tasks. And I still have a blank space here because when I looked at most of my tasks for Saturday, they were all family related. So the whole goal here is to go into a 60-minute exercise or the day or a horizontal theme, a time block with a plan, with something to do. And then if that plan needs to be altered, at least you've got some anchors in that list. So what we're going to do over the next, and we're almost 10 minutes in, is most people, when I ask them, and I mean, if I was to look at Twitter right now, I did a Twitter poll as well, but I did it primarily for you guys here on the channel, is 91% of you said you could get between 1 and 3 high impact things done if you were, if in 60 minutes. 100% of the people that were polled on Twitter so far, not everybody's answered this poll, believe the same thing. So my goal would be to at least hit that mark. And we'll shift gears here for a second so I can give you a sense of what I mean by that. And I do like switching camera angles up every once in a while. High impactful things, and I'll shift this over a little bit too. High impactful things don't necessarily mean things that you're gonna notice what that impact is right away. Okay, so for example, doing yoga, like taking a half hour to complete yoga, would be a task that might not be the greatest example, but it would be high impact. And of course, you'd only get one of them done. That would be one, but it would have lasting effects, right? Like it would be something that would last. Even answering a very specific email to a client could be a very impactful task. Writing a blog post might be one. But remember, when you're writing a blog post, there's more steps to it than just writing it, like publishing it. You've got to do all that stuff. So writing is just one aspect of it too. That's something else to consider. So I believe that either A, the impactful tasks that almost 100% across the board answered, those 1 to 3, I honestly believe that some of those are bigger tasks that could be broken down. So you're probably not giving yourself enough credit for the impactful tasks you can do in a 60-minute period once you've broken those projects down into their smallest particles, right? Number one. That's a big one too, by the way. Or number two, you don't realize that some of the tasks that you're also doing in that hour might have an indirect lasting impact that you didn't consider. Okay? And when you are looking at this next hour, or this next 50 minutes, I guess, there's a couple of ways that you can tackle it. Okay? And so I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how to do that. So first, I want to talk about the idea of while you're working for this next period of time, you could either use time as your guide or the tasks as your guide, okay? And this is the way I'm going to approach it is I'm going to use my to-do list as the primary, and a timer is just me knowing that we only have a set period of time to work on it, okay? So for example, I know that I've got these 9 tasks that are here that are in front of me. I'm going to try to do as many of them as I can in 50 minutes. And I'm just going to, the only flow I'm going to follow is I'm not going to do these in order that they're written down. Instead, I'm probably going to start with the low energy ones to get momentum because I'm a night owl. I'm not a early riser. Plus, it's a Saturday and my brain knows this. And then I'll jump into the high energy ones, okay? Those are what I'm going to do first, right? And then once I get those done, I will move into the higher energy ones. Now, again, I'm not going down this list sequentially because the way your brain writes things down isn't necessarily in the order that you should do them. You have to have another way to kind of filter it, right? Filter through the noise and create some kind of grouping, okay? The other way to do it is to kind of adopt a pseudo Pomodoro technique. And the Pomodoro technique, which I've also made a video about, I made a video called the 4th Pomodoro and what you should do with it. Chelsea, the cards are called analog cards, and they come in a variety of, you get the today cards, the next cards, and then the someday cards in a pack. I also happen to have the stand. Probably do a video on how I use these because I don't use them. I wouldn't say I don't use them every day. They're great. They're a great portable task management thing because I can grab these index cards and hit the road. But they're called Analog, ANALOG. And if you go to ugmonk.com/analog, you can find them there. And they were a highly successful Kickstarter project. Okay. Back to the time version. So the Pomodoro technique is basically 4 25-minute cycles with short breaks in between before you take a longer break. And you're supposed to work on different tasks each time because it promotes neuroplasticity. It kind of keeps the brain moving in different directions so that you don't get really stuck it actually helps you move things around in your head a lot faster. You won't get so stuck in your ways. You won't get so myopic in the way you work. Okay? But you don't have to use 25 minutes. It's just the 25 minutes is based on the idea that the longest you can focus on any one thing is for 25 minutes before that attention starts to wane and the quality of your output starts to deteriorate. Now, in this instance, as we start to make our way through, you could say, well, Mike, okay, so we're going to be 45 minutes by the time you're done doing this intro. We only have 45 minutes. So I'm going to try to do 5-minute tasks, and I'm going to give myself a 5-minute timer, and however much I can do in 5 minutes, I'm going to get done, right? Or I'm going to say, I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes, and I'm going to try to do 3 tasks for that 15-minute period. So 15 minutes, and I'll do another task, and I'll do another task, and see how many I can get done. People tend to use time as a construct because it's objective. So you know in an hour, that's how much time you have. So instead of what they'll do is, again, they'll frame it like how much can I get done in the hour, or I know I want to make progress on at least 6 things. So let's do 10 minutes on 6 things. That's another way you can do it. Because again, if you break your tasks down into their smallest particles, so instead of writing, like you could see here, I didn't say do Monday blog post. I said write it. So all I'm going to do is write it. I'm not going to post it to WordPress. I'm not going to grab any images or anything like that. That's not what that is. The only intention is to write the blog post. Getting Liz into front is very, very easy for me to do. It's a simple, quick one. That's something. But if I said spend time in front, that's going to be a lot longer of a task. So when you break it down and you use the right verbiage, you're going to put yourself in a better place. I'm going to go over this a bit more in this webinar that I'm doing on July 12th, the idea of like how to do your to-do list better than ever before. Again, I'll put a link to that in the description, so that way you can join us for the free webinar. It's a bit more of a workshop style. And you'll be able to actually, you'll have some interactive tasks that you're supposed to work on during the webinar. All right. So with that in mind, I want you to decide how you're going to tackle the next 45 minutes. Are you going to just focus on are you going to focus on a task, a project, and try to get as many things done within that project? Again, let me know in the comments or in the chat if you're watching this live. Are you going to kind of just go through your list in a prioritized order? So these are the most important, these are the least important, and go that way. Let me know about that. If you're going to do something like what I'm doing, which is kind of group your tasks by either the time it's going to take to do them, which is, again, working like kind of operating by modality, which is what I teach in time crafting. So either time-based, resource-based, hey, what can I do on my computer? What can I do that requires Microsoft Word? That's another way. Energy, which is what I've showed you I'm doing, high energy, low energy. Activity, hey, where are all my studying tasks? Where are all my reading tasks? Where are all my, maybe writing tasks or whatever, grouping by activity. And then finally by theme. So if you are a themed type of person and you've been doing time crafting for a while, hey, it's, today's my daily theme of planning. So I'm going to focus all on planning tasks. Or, I'm going to take this period of time and focus on, deep work because that's my theme for today. Whatever. That's what I want you to do. You will hear me interject as we go through this. And I'm going to probably do these again, but with less descriptive elements to it. So that way we can kind of have some rules so that people can go into it, or some guidelines, and then people can just start. Might even do one where it's just strictly ASMR, where it's just like me working and you can join me. If you want to hear something like that or see something like that, again, let me know in the comments or in the chat. All right, so I'm going to get started. And the first thing that I'm going to start working on is all those low energy tasks. So I'm going to audit Todoist. So you're going to see my Todoist on my screen here as I do this. Whether if you want to watch me do it, that's fine. There's nothing untoward or anything on there that I'm afraid to show you. But you should also be working on the stuff you're going to work on. So if you're comfortable saying, hey, I'm going to work on this right now, let me know in the chat or in the comments. I'll review this video regularly too. So if you're not watching this live, I will be keeping my eyes on what happens, interactive wise here. So again, I'm going to get started with what I'm going to work on. You go ahead and get started with what you're going to work on, and we'll you'll hear me as we go through the process. But for now, you're going to see my iPad screen for a little while, and I'll jump back up and so on. So if you're ready to get started, let's do it. So first up for me is to audit Todoist. Now I have to go in first and make sure that, and see again, you don't necessarily know what apps need to be updated. And Todoist has been updated in full. So I'm going to go to today, and there's no way I'm going to get 244 tasks done today. We're going to reschedule all of these. We're just going to put them all for today. And so whenever this happens, I always just, if I get behind in some, I will audit them. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. So this auditing process is basically to get things back in line. You're going to see some odd tasks here too. You're going to see tasks that are like, well, Mike, why do you have in here, get in some father-son time? Don't need to cook dinner today. So I'll do that tomorrow. That doesn't have to happen. I'm sure I'm making a difference in someone's day by doing this. Okay. Ooh, I definitely need to do that today. All right, so we're just going to go to Saturday's focus. Yeah, that's not happening. I'm not going to run a marathon. So there's a few things here that I already did that. There's a few things here that I've already done that too. That I have not, either that I've done or I've kind of done already, or just decided not to do at the time. There's a lot of stuff on here that's supposed to be done. I'm gonna do that today. Oh, well, that's interesting. The 7-Eleven free Slurpee Day is tomorrow. The great thing about Todoist is because I have labels on here, I can easily know where these things are again. So there's a lot of stuff in here on Saturday that I need to kind of redo. This is not something we're going to decide yet. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's not happening. We already decided it. So in Todoist, what you can do is you can select multiple tasks. So I'll just do some of that. So planning. So and I can go through all of this and just move it to the more appropriate day. Which for me, most of this won't be for. There's a lot of planning stuff here. And I'm going to schedule that, not even for this Sunday, I'll schedule it for next Sunday. So there's a few things in here that I definitely want to take care of doing. I'm not going to do that. Registering the bikes, it's a different idea. I'll do that next week. Okay, so now I have all of the Saturday stuff that I believe needs to be done today set up. So that's by having a filter in here, okay? All right, and what do we have going on here? This is true, Jane. Jane says she feels sometimes like she spends more time sorting tasks than actually doing them. And that I could see that. So that's the problem when you don't, and I have a book called Your To-Do List is a Garden, or a video. And that would be a problem. If you don't tend the garden, it tends to get overgrown. So I haven't looked at Todoist in the past couple days, and it blew up. Now you'll notice that my process has now eliminated this today task down to 197, which is certainly not going to be all the tasks I do today. Good news is that some of these things have already been done. So I'm going to, again, multiply select. And again, when I have all of these, I can actually move them to, so rectify is what I do on Friday. So I can legitimately just do this, move them to the next Friday, and they're done. And then I can find other tasks that are based on my daily theme. So audio, audio, audio. video is a video day. There's some more rectify stuff here, but not a big deal. But I can actually start to go back and say, oh, these are all audio and video tasks. So I'm not really, I mean, the good news is that I'm not spending as much time sorting through them as I am. It doesn't take me as long, basically, by doing this. So again, I'm seeing there's call, and there's some stuff in here that I'm noticing already that definitely needs to be kind of eliminated. So I can move these all to the following Tuesday, and then I can go. Again, there's more rectify tasks here. There we go. Rectify. And you're going to see some stuff in here that you're like, what? Some stuff that's gone in here, by the way, is very, shall we say, it's just been there for way too long. Like, they've just been there, and then I gave them dates arbitrarily down the line. I overestimated what I'd be able to do in a given time period, which is not unlike other people. Sometimes you just, especially when I'm focused on one very specific thing, and right now I'm focused on working on the next book, that you'll find that there's some things that just don't get, well, they don't get done as quickly as you'd like. So I'm going to go back. I see there's a rectify. Well, that's not something that can wait. And I'm going to move those to the following Friday. So Friday's already starting to get pretty full. But I've knocked down like to 142 tasks here. And then I will, oh, here's another task that can go to Friday because it's a rectify task. This is a Tuesday task. So yes, there is a lot of sorting happening. But remember, here's the thing. Remember what my task was. It's Audit Todoist, right? So that's what I'm actually doing. I'm auditing Todoist. All right, so back in here, let's find, these are all steering tasks. Steering is my daily theme for Wednesday. Any of these things definitely that don't need to be done today can be done on a Wednesday, on the Wednesday, so that are marked as steering. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to move all of these things that say steering to Wednesday. And again, I know that all my daily themes, if this is what you're using, if you're using Todoist, all of them actually have colors that you can create for each tag. So, I can keep that there because I'm recalibrating Todoist right now. All right, I'm just going to move those for now. That's a pencil talk that I should have listened to a long time ago. Sorry, Nadia. Oh, wait. Or at least reviewed better. I think I listened to it, and I'm recalibrating Todoist right now, so I'm going to mark that off as done, because you know what? It's going to be done. This goes into Wednesday as well. Training. I am spending some time learning about Amazing Marvin. So, and there's a bunch of maintaining tasks. Here's another steering that I missed. And here's another steering that I missed as well. Video, that's going to go to the following Tuesday. And there's a lot there, so I'm actually going to move that even further down. That's the other nice thing, too, is you can go, if you know what your daily themes are, you can move further ahead, right? So knowing that I have these daily themes, I can look at it and go, oh, you know what? I need to move this to a specific day, but I can't be this one because I've already got a threshold in mind of what I can accomplish in that day. So that's another thing too, is you want to make sure that when you're auditing a task app like this or setting up your day for the amount of tasks you can get done, you want to have a benchmark or a threshold as to what you'd be willing to work on in a day, how much things you could actually get done in a day. So whatever that is for you, regardless of whether they're impactful tasks or not. All right, so back here. Now I'm going to pick all the training tasks because those are all done for Thursdays, because Thursday is my training day. So I'm going to move that there. Again, I don't see many of them. Training. And then there's a bunch of here that are listed as maintaining because that's what I do on Monday. So as I make my way through here, there's a bunch of steering stuff still. There's training and training and training. I think there's a bunch of steering stuff here that I still need to go back and take care of. So Thursday, save. And now I'm just going to pick a bunch of steering tasks. Boom, 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 boom. Now these are all really kind of interesting steering tasks. So don't want to do that. And I'm going to move all of these because they are definitely down the line. I'm not going to put, because if I put them on the 14th, that's too many. I'm going to put them later in the week. All right, and now I'm going to pick Monday's tasks. Oh, that's already been done. That's done Monday. Well, I could do that today too. There's a few things in here that don't actually need to be, they can be done now. Maintaining. So there's a lot of, and there's some stuff that just gets done daily. Okay, and the higher up I go, all right, so then we're going to go with Monday. And there's hardly anything on Monday, so I'm going to move all of them. I'm down to 54 tasks as I audit this. Yeah, it's definitely, this is kind of, there's an element to the weekly review here, but the problem is that if I don't, I wish I did this, this should have been done yesterday on the day I rectify. That's when I normally audit this. So this is a task that I should have got done yesterday. I just didn't. But the great thing is it's so quick because I know where things go. And there's no shame or guilt around I didn't get this done, because I see it now and I can play catch up. Now, again, this is not a typical week. Normally I wouldn't be in here doing this on a Saturday. But there would be some stuff in Todoist is where I would look on Saturday because it's my personal. I haven't even looked at ClickUp yet, which is what I use for my team. All right, so back to here, and again, finding anything. So now what it is I'm just going to go to the Friday focus and see, look at all these things that are, that say rectify. Oops, no, I don't want to edit the filter. So there's this and there's this. I will move that to and I'm looking at the following Friday. There's a lot of stuff on that Friday. So I already know I'm going to move it there because I'm going to have to edit that again and make sure. But all of these things these are all things that I should do today. If I look at Thursday, there's play with Notion. That's there. I don't need to do that. So I'm going to move that, but I'm going to move that to the fall. There's 14 tasks, so I'm just going to move that to the following. I'm actually going to move all of these as well because they're both video and training, but I do want them on a training day instead, and I'm going to move them to the 22nd as well. Wednesday, I see some steering stuff, select. So let's move this one, and I think I'm going to move that one. Yeah, there's 25. I'm going to move that to the again. Now there's a lot of steering tasks. Tuesday, review to refolder. Don't need it. That can definitely move. I'll look at Tuesday. There's 20 tasks. I'll move that to there. There's planning. There's a bunch of stuff here that probably can also wait. So I'm going to move all of these things. And you can see there's a bunch of stuff here that I don't really need to do. Boom. I'm going to probably go to, so all of these I'll just move to the following Tuesday. Then I go to Monday. There's a lot of maintenance tasks here. today. But when I look at it, I think all of these are tasks that, well, actually that's not true. I can do this one on Monday. I can do this one on Monday. Everything else, though, needs to be done today. So I'll just move that to Monday, which is already pretty full. I've already reviewed my personal email for the day, and I've maintained my manicured nails. So there you go. Sunday, there's a lot of, again, these are all family tasks, but Saturday and Sunday could be family. I'm now down to 44. I'm going to leave this for now because I'm pretty confident that I've gotten a lot of this stuff done already. There is some stuff that is, and I know when this is happening, so I'm just going to move some of this stuff to I'm going to move those to Sunday because they're definitely things. And then this I actually should have read before. I'm going to postpone until October 2nd. I'm going to postpone this to Friday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday. There we go, Tuesday. And all of these other things, I've already done that. Now you know, I've got that for my wife. Clean outside of windows, dehydrate fruit. Oh, my son is not here, so that's different. And I think that's it. All right. So I can now comfortably say that I have audited Todoist. So all I do here now is I just give it a big old dot. Now, if I was only halfway done, I would most definitely see on these analog cards, they have like these half circles. So you can't really see it from here, and I don't want to get too close. Well, let's see if we can focus in. No. But you could see how there's like a little circle there. So I would I would only put it halfway. So if I, let's say, if I only got part way done or decided to shift gears, I would definitely do that. Let's see what else we got going on here. How's everyone doing that's in the chat right now? Have you managed to get, I got one task done, one impactful task that's going to move me forward. Let me know. All right, so that was believe it or not, that was a low energy task. Now there's a couple other tasks here that I need to do. I have to check in with a couple of clients. Those are all low energy tasks. I'm going to do those really quickly. And again, I get to do them in Todoist. That's the great thing about it, is I can work on those. I'll get those done pretty quickly. I think the next thing that I want to do is I want to probably shift gears to show you a high energy task that's going to have some impact. So I'm going to write my blog post. I'm going to write the Monday blog post right now. And I have a sense of what I'm going to be writing about. So you'll have to you'll get to see me actually write it, which is what I wanted to do. So we're going to get into that now. I am going to use drafts to write my next blog post. And what I need to do this, though, is I need to kind of keep my eyes on, I have to keep my eyes on some of the other stuff that I wanted to talk about. So when I'm writing a blog post, at this point, what I try to do is I try to bring in a YouTube video at the same time. So this one is going to be how to finish the week strong. Oh. And again, I'm not terribly concerned about spelling or anything like that. This is the app Drafts. Oh, and I'll tag it with blog. Okay, so, and then what I normally do here is I will put insert pertinent YouTube video link to this is what you do post. Okay. And so then what I'll do is I'll actually start to go through the process of writing the blog post. Now this one's going to be a bit different for me because I actually have to go and I want to actually do what the YouTube video had for it. So I'm going to have to go back and find that video and listen to it and kind of go from there. So this is that actual video, which I'll link to here, of course, is I think it is. Yeah, I've got to find that video, but it's how to finish the week strong. There it is, how to finish in 60 seconds. So I'm gonna. This is There are ways to finish the week strong. Okay, so I'm just gonna follow that. Oop. There are ways to finish the week strong. Boom. And I will. You can dedicate all of your focus and attention on one. You can dedicate all of your focus and attention on one single task. Dedicate your focus and attention on one massive project. You can dedicate your focus and attention on one single project. You can simply write everything down that you're going to do. You can simply write everything down that you're going to do. Bit by bit, and then check it off as you do it. Bit by bit, and then check it off as you do them. So that I have to fix that. So check things off as you do them. And maybe you took the garbage out. Maybe you cooked dinner. Maybe you sent that one email you've been meaning to send for a while now. Finishing the week strong as you do it. Maybe you took the garbage out. Maybe you cooked dinner. Maybe you sent that one email you've been meaning to send for a while, and that's about it. Finishing the week strong isn't about doing as much. Okay. Finishing the week strong isn't So I'm going back and listening. Isn't about doing as much as possible. It's about doing what you can do. I think this is appropriate to take some time right now. So what I like about this process is the just to kind of give you a bit of an idea of why I'm doing this is the blog gets tons of traffic already. So I've been strategic about this. The blog gets tons of traffic. YouTube channel is still growing. So I'm writing blog posts that associate with videos, putting the videos inside the blog post, and then that way it's kind of you're doubling the value of the content. This isn't new stuff. It's just stuff that I've decided to employ, especially since I want to grow the channel. And now people that go to the blog go, oh, he has a YouTube channel and he's going to do this live planning or he's going to do this thing. So that's part of it. But then the videos can inspire written content, and then written content can inspire video. So I'm going to start to have this simpatico relationship between my video content and my written content. And the audio content will come in there as well with the podcast. With the new podcast, Rebranding a Productive Conversation, I might take nuggets out of that and expand upon that in content as well. So I've created this nice little Venn diagram, this kind of integrated relationship with all the content, which I should have done a long time ago. But now I'm, now that I have that, again, that framework, it makes it much easier for me to go and write a blog post fairly quickly because all I'm doing is basically for this one, transcribing the video. and making it a blog post. I might expand upon it too, but we'll see. Right. Take some time right now. Write all the things down that you did today. Every last one. And take a look at it. I'm going to say then take a look at it. As you cross those things off that you did, you're going to write all the things down that you did today. Every last thing. And take a look at it. As you cross those things off that you did, you're going to feel a sense of... As you cross off those things that you did. Oh, here we go. Every last thing, then take... And take a look at it. As you cross those things off that you did, you're going to feel a sense of accomplishment. Wait a minute, cross... Write all the things down that you did today. Every last thing. I know, I said every last thing. Get it? As you cross those things off that you did, you're going to feel a sense of accomplishment. Cross those things off that you did. You're going to have a sense of accomplishment. You're going to feel productive. You're going to feel productive, and then use that as fuel. Then use that... Sometimes, normally I'd use an external keyboard. Use that as fuel to start the next week even stronger. Use that as fuel to start the next week even stronger. There you go. So there's a blog post. I'm done that. Blog post is done. I've written it. Now, here's the question. Hey, happy Saturday. So here's the question. As you look at that blog post, just to give you a sense of what it looks like, this is the blog post, right? How to Finish the Week Strong is the name of the blog post. I don't know if I wrote Mondays or Fridays post. Now, this is where you can get stuck. So we only have, I'm going to say that it's written because the bottom line is, and this is where you can get tripped up. Dan, great. Okay, and I'll explain audit in just a second. So I'm going to mark off that this is done. Now the blog post is written, but now I'm going to put in here, prepare Monday blog post. And the reason, and I'm going to also put like it's partly prepared because it's written, right? So I'll show you how that looks. And I'm also going to mark this off as a low energy task because it is. So now, as you can see here, now I've got this thing here that says, basically it says prepare Monday blog post at the bottom. I added this, low energy, and... There we go. We're gonna now let's get some focus back. And if you look, the dot is halfway filled at this point. So that means I'm made progress on, oddly enough, and this is the crazy thing. So I wrote a blog post. That's actually a task. I wrote it. And now the preparation of the post, I'm partway done because I did that. So I get that sense of accomplishment of, hey, I'm already halfway there. Now, or a percentage of the way there, let's get the rest of it done. Let's get the image. Let's do all that. Now, I could break it down, but I know the steps, and those steps are actually inside of ClickUp. So I would go inside of ClickUp to see it broken down a bit more. All right. So Dan Montague asks, what do I mean by audit in 25 words or less? What I mean by that is I'm going through to make sure that everything's kind of aligned. I'm making sure that anything that didn't get done and was overdue or won't get done gets placed where it needs to go. Anything that did get done that I didn't check off for some reason gets checked off. It's basically, for lack of a better term, spring cleaning. It's just going through and making sure that's done. That's what I mean by audit, because it gives, it's kind of, I'm checking to make sure everything looks okay. Does that make sense? Hope it does. All right. So we are about 10 minutes left. Now, if you're looking at this, look, 1, 2.5, right? Technically, 2.5. I could very easily, in the next 10 minutes, get the recap sent to Brad and check in with Sean. I'm not going to do that on the stream because I don't want to share anything untoward or that's privy to just us. But I can tell you that if I was to do it inside of Todoist, what I would do, because that's where this lives, is let's create a task in here just real quick called send recap to Brad, because that's what it is, right? That's really what it is. As I record our one-to-one calls, and then I share them. So we're just gonna leave in the inbox for the purposes of this. Now, if I go in here, what I normally do is I add a comment, and I hit the paperclip, and then I record the audio, and then I say the following. Hey, Brad, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me this week. I've attached a recording of our video. If you have any questions, let me know. Anything you need over the course of the next little while, just drop me a line. And again, I'll touch base with you sometime next week. Take care. Talk to you soon. And then I attach it. And then you put a comment. So give this a listen. I hit send. And so now it would be going to this person. And then if I have the wherewithal, and I'm going to do this right now, I would press play. I don't know if you can hear it, but nope, the volume is down too low. Yeah, I can't hear it. It's because the thing is plugged in. But nonetheless, that's how that would work. So that's one of the great things I love about Todoist is the ability to attach audio attachments. I'm going to delete that task now because it's not an actual task, but that's how I do it. So I would share with my clients, more details of their call, and then I would attach it. And then I use the same thing for checking in on accountability. So I can tell you right now that if we were not doing this live, I would have those done before the call was finished. So the reason that I wanted to have this session today was to kind of go over how, if you make your to-do list simpler and you really, it's more about task management, expectation management, attention management, and using time as kind of a frame to put your attention in. Because time moves on whether we want it to or not. The tasks don't, because we have to move them forward. Otherwise, they either become obsolete, and you saw that when I audited Todoist. If you're watching, there's some tasks that are just either don't matter enough to be scheduled with a scheduled date or an attention date, because that's what those are. If you looked at that and got anxiety for me, don't worry about it. Those in Todoist and any of these task apps, I don't call them due dates. I call them attention dates. I have the luxury of being able to decide certain things. Some things I don't, but that's when flagging comes into play. That's when, using those labels come into play. That's the difference. So when I use dates, I don't say it's due on this date. It's an attention date. And in some apps, the start date might be the attention date, right? Whatever. Point is, I'm not worried about that. I got through it. I now look at my task list. It's got 35 tasks in Todoist. Most of them are mundane and easy and quick wins. And that's what you want. You do want some quick wins, because then that leaves you not only the breathing room to get the big impactful stuff done, but it also gives you those little dopamine hits as you go. The difference is that you want the right dopamine hits. So Facebook gives you one, right? Checking the comments on YouTube, all that stuff. Those when you do something like that, active, your brain gets a little bit of that little juice, the momentum juice, right? But the problem is that if you're getting dopamine from the wrong sources, or you're using that as the hit instead of some of these other things that could give you the hit, like hey, checking the dandelions, making sure that you reconcile like my Coinbase and Wealthsimple account, making sure that I, spend time with my son. Sounds weird, but that's the better dopamine hit, right? Than, check Facebook, right? Or, get to inbox 0. For me, again, it's going to be very different for you. But time is that box, that shape that we can put our attention in and our expectations in and all of that stuff we have greater command over. So when you're putting together a to-do list, again, the understanding, the realization that you can't just, you have to make your to-do list more doable. You have to put it in yourself in a position where as you go through it, you're like, oh, I could do that. I could do that. I could do that. Both parts of your brain, the primitive part that just wants to do what it needs to survive, and then the more advanced part that wants to do things that will help you thrive. And if they worked, if you give that, more advanced part of your brain the ability to filter out all the other stuff and give clear directions that even the primitive part can understand. Hey, don't forget, we got to check the dandelions. How do you know that? Well, it's written down. We wrote it down. Oh, man, but I don't feel it's a quick task. Let's just get it done. Okay, fine. And again, having those waypoints. Hey, what's today? Today's Saturday. Saturday means family. What family stuff can I do? Giving yourself as many clues as possible makes your to-do list more doable. But a greater understanding is just knowing where your limits are. Not just the limits of, hey, this is, these are the types of tasks I can do in a day. But like literally saying, hey, I can't, if I hit 10 tasks per day, I'm good. Or if I can, get 6 things done per day, 6 significant things. And I talked about the significant 6 tools that I use, but there's another element of 6 that can come into play. Getting like 6 significant things done, or 5 or whatever, that could be the fuel you need. So as I come close to wrapping things up here, I really do think that we live in a world that kind of compels us to try to do as much as possible in as short a time as possible. And this done in 60 minutes live stream wasn't designed to say, how much can you get done in 60 minutes? It was more about giving you a place to do that work. Again, you're looking at mine, and if you look at this list, I got 2.5 things done. Again, I know I would have gotten more done without the description of what I was doing. As a matter of fact, I probably should have put on here, hey, description. Do the description stuff, Mike. Make sure you do that. But I didn't. If I did, definitely got more than 3 things or 2.5 things done in that hour-long span. So, again, I want you to walk away from this with some ideas of, hey, you know what? Maybe I do need to break down my tasks a little bit more. Maybe I do need to give myself a bit of a break and a limit as to what I'm willing to get done in a day and what I consider to be a productive day versus what I don't. In the Daily Driver, which you can get from my website, there is a place on there. Dan, thanks. I hope to see you in the webinar. Yeah, the webinar is coming up on Monday. And I'm going to expand upon this. There's going to be some actionable stuff. So bring your tools, bring a pen, bring a paper, bring all that stuff with you. But the idea here is we live in a world that's saying, hey, get as much done as you can in as little time as you can, and that's not productive because we can't confuse checking off as many boxes as possible as the most productive use of our energy, our attention, our time. What we should be focusing on is what matters. Like, what can I get done? How can I make every moment matter, even in some small way? Whether it's picking up the phone and saying to a friend, hey, how are things going? That's productive, right? And checking that off on your list, having a recurring task that says check in with someone that you haven't checked in with in a while, is really a powerful thing that you can do. Right? So again, I want to thank you for taking the time to join me on this live stream. Hope you got a lot done in 60 minutes. If you didn't, go back and watch this again and fire it up again. I know I got a lot more to do today, but it'll be the right things. And you saw my list. There's not a ton. I'll be able to get all that stuff done. It's the 1,092 words that's going to be great. So thanks to everybody who joined live. If you didn't join live, love to hear from you in the comments. Maybe let me know what kind of live stream you want me to do. Hey, I want you to do this live, or I want you to do that live, and I'll be happy to make it happen. Until the next time we see each other, remember to define your day, filter your focus, make every moment matter, and then ultimately stop doing productive and start being productive. See you later.